I mean, that's their modus operandi, right? It's they consider themselves the phoenix. They rise out of the ashes, rise up out of the old and into the new, and they do this over and over and over again, like a breathing entity. And because what is once new will eventually become old, and then they rise up out of that oldness again and become new again, and they repeat this over and over. And if you want to look at, let's just say, let's pull anything out of history, even recent history, and we can see how they do this. So if you look at news, when they first created TV and they needed a propaganda machine, and if you're not familiar with where TV and Hollywood comes from, I just did an episode on the father of Hollywood, and you need to go check that out because it'll explain that this guy that set this up knew more. It wasn't just about setting up a place to make movies for your entertainment. They set up entire cities with electricity, with everything, when electricity supposedly had just been invented, and created the entire um, motion picture industry overnight. Light bulbs, electricity, motion picture industry, and the guy founded 140 cities along the way, including Hollywood. If you want to buy all that, I've got something else to sell you. So go check out that episode. But look at some of the recent things here that have just happened. So, back in the day when TV first came out, like we were saying, if you wanted to get news information, you had ABC, American Broadcast Channel, you had NBC, National Broadcast Channel, and you had ABC, right? We said that American Broadcast, NBC, and CBS, Columbia Broadcast System, I think it was. You had those three. Um, and then as time went, you had Fox News, right? Fox 20th Century News, and it was Fox News. Then you had the cable news network, which ended up becoming CNN. I'm sure everyone's heard of CNN, right? But here recently, like especially during Trump's presidency, when Trump first became first got nominated, all of a sudden there was this news agency that popped up called One American News. And next thing you know, they were just everywhere overnight. How did that happen? Where did they come from? So it didn't matter that they weren't there for a longevity of period prior to, because out of the old, right, they rose from the ashes as the new because they had the backing, and those that were backing it knew where they were taking it, knew what was the agenda was, and what propaganda they needed to put out for their agenda. So that's why it was created. And henceforth, here you go. And we still have it. Now, right before this election, they had to do some other finagling. And what else just popped up? Another company called Newsmax. You never heard of them before, but now all of a sudden that's all that you're going to hear about, and that's going to get promoted for a while. And there's obviously there's more than these. You got the Young Turks that had popped up a while back. The Daily Wire was one of those. This, that, and the other. What you don't understand is most of the people that are filling these positions are CIA operatives of the sort, what have you. I mean, just look at the people at CNN or at Fox. They're either CIA or they're ex government in some capacity. They're hiring like McEnany or what's the guy with the goofy haircut? The guy from North Carolina. Um, I can't think of his name. Congress senator. Anyway, they're getting all these Congress people, ex-congressmen, senators. They're coming on to do the news for them. And I'm sorry, but how would you feel if you went to journalism school and you took all that education just to find out that your pathway was to take political science to be a sellout to the larger corporations and to the New World agenda? And then only after you did all of that and kissed their butt to further their agenda, they would allow you in the position of propagating the propaganda to further their agenda to finally be that newscaster that you never wanted to be. Imagine that, because that's really what's going on. But getting back to the 5D chess, which is what we're talking about here, and the illusion of don't do anything now because what's coming good for you will be in the future. Look at the history of religion. Does the Christian religion not do the same thing to their flock, right? They're essentially telling you, don't do that, that's a sin. Oh, don't do that, that's a sin. Oh, definitely don't do that, that's a sin. Come over here and kiss my ass because you know I am worthy. And then when you're done, if you did it all just right, and you suffered enough here, when your time here, then you'll be entered into the gates of heaven. But they never tell you what that exactly is, just that you'll enjoy it there, and all your loved ones will be there. Well, how do you know that? What if they ended up going down to the other place? But it's the illusion of, don't do anything that'll make your life better now, because you're going to get this better life later. And they realized how well that worked with converting polytheism into monotheism, because that's what they did, folks. Polytheism, when you go back to the polytheistic world, the world of magic and make believe, if that's what you want to call it, that back to the age of mages and Stonehenge and all these things, they believed in doing ritualistic things that produced a change immediately in the real world at the moment. When they shifted polytheism to monotheism, in other words, that was a globalist movement and you had to abide by that. And if you didn't abide by that, you were cast out as a witch, this, that, and the other, burned at the stake. When they switched over from that, then the belief system also went that you don't practice any of that mumbo jumbo, that you'll get your rewards in heaven. So that was a huge part of the switch over from polytheism to monotheism, because in polytheism, you believe that you got your rewards in the here and now. In monotheism, it switched it to you'll get your rewards in heaven. That's a huge change up. Stay tuned, because there's a reason why they changed that up and why they don't want you to know about it. And after I pay this bill, I think it's the last bill, we'll be right back to tell you all about it. And then guess what? No more bills to pay. Catch you in a minute.